It's early on Saturday, isn't it?
Yeah, the race starts at 6 a.m., which is why they want us to pick all of our stuff up before. A lot of races will let you come early and pick them up in the morning of, but when the race starts at 6 a.m., no, you got to have everything ready to go. So,
Wow.
driving to L.A. today.
And then you're driving to Hollywood before the crack of dawn on Saturday.
Yes, I am.
Wow.
Yes, I am.
You're
It's gonna be
crazy.
fun. Gonna be fun though. I'm meeting up with a friend from high school that lives in Georgia, and some other local friends, and we got a bunch of people running.
But
Should be a lot of fun.
You paid for the ability to get up really early and go running through Hollywood on a Saturday.
Wait till you see the medal. It's a cool medal. That's
I'm
what
gonna say
we
it's a
run
good-
for. We run for the bling.
It's a good thing we're all morning people.
I
Huh?
know. Well, actually, Tobin has turned into a morning person, but he's done it grudgingly.
That's right. I get up every morning cursing. What was I thinking?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So before we really get started, I want to let everybody know all the ways you can listen to KCAA Radio. Of course, you can find us at 1050 on the AM dial. You can also go to kcaaradio.com where you'll see links to all of our social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. You'll also find links to our Ustream channel because we got the high-def camera in here. Yes, in the morning. Thank you very much. And
Looking good.
you can call to listen. If you've got a flip phone or want to call from your home phone, you can call 832-999-1050. That's 832-999-1050. If you're driving into OC or LA and you want to listen to the show all the way into work, you can use the TuneIn app on your Apple device. You can go to the App Store, search for the TuneIn app, download it, get it installed. It's free. Search for KCAA Radio, and you can listen to all of our live shows 24/7, and all of our local shows you can also listen to on podcast. You can do the same thing at kcaaexpress.com with an Android device. So the U.S. Postal Service kind of screwed up recently.
Yes, they did.
Maya
Yes, they
Angelou,
did.
who, now if you listen to the old morning show, you would have heard before she passed away, we had an interview, and Paul Lane actually did the interview with her. It was over 2 segments, talking about her life and her achievements, and it was just my favorite ever. She obviously is a world-renowned poet and author, civil rights icon, cultural giant. As of today, the face of United States Postal Service's latest forever stamp, but there's a problem with it. What's the problem, Tobin?
They put the wrong quote on the stamp. It's Maya Angelou's stamp, but they quoted a different writer.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so, yeah, that's bad. A bird doesn't sing because it has an answer. It sings because it has a song, reads the quote off the tribute to Angelou. But another author, Joan Walsh Anglin, says the quote is hers. Her one of her most famous poems is the cage bird sings.
Yes.
And I think that's what they were going for, but they got it wrong, which is really bad. So the Postal Service rep initially stood by the quote, which was approved by Angelou's family, interestingly enough, citing what else? The Internet. When told England had verified it as her own, he added, had we known about the issue beforehand, we would have used one of Angelou's many other works. Very disappointed, Emerson College lit professor tells the Post it's particularly discouraging because Angelou is so eminently quotable. No kidding.
I know.
But you people do this. They'll slap a picture of name cultural icon, whether it's Einstein or Lincoln.
I like the
Abraham
Lincoln
Lincoln.
one. I like the Lincoln one. Don't believe everything you read on the internet. Quoted
Yep.
by Abraham Lincoln.
Exactly.
It's like, really? Come on. And
That's
people
the best.
believe that, you know?
I
It's like,
know.
come on. They
They
didn't
stick
know.
a picture next to it. Oh, it must be their quote. Really?
Yeah.
Says who? Because anybody could make that meme.
Right?
Yeah. Well, I have to be honest and own one here. I actually sent a letter to the editor once that started with a quote, and I got it wrong too. And I'm a history teacher, and it was a historical quote. And I think I put it down as FDR, and it was in fact Winston Churchill. And
Oops.
at least they were from the same era, and a lot of their quotes did sound similar. But talk about embarrassing, right?
Oh, yeah.
And they published published it with the incorrect quote, but the online version I was able to get to them, and they switched the online version. But the paper one that went out had it wrong, and I felt so stupid. So stupid. So it
Well,
happens.
it happens.
It
We all
happens.
make mistakes. But, I mean, come on. Now our postage stamps are going to have to go up another 5 cents just to cover this mistake.
I
That's
know.
right.
It's just and how do you get her wrong? She's
Well,
written so many
Right.
books and so many just Look it up
But
for
you know what?
crying out loud.
Like I said earlier, let me Google that one.
Yeah.
This particular stamp, though, because it's a goof watch, it goes up in value, right? So if you're a collector,
Oh, yeah.
this is the one you're going to want to get because they probably aren't going to run a lot of them. They'll have to recall it or whatever, and then they'll make the new one with the right quote. So grab this one now because it's probably going to be worth something someday.
Yeah.
Do people still collect stamps?
I think so.
I'm sure there are.
There are
Yes.
philatelists out there?
Yeah.
I
Probably
don't
not in
think you can say that word
California,
on the
but
air, Aaron.
Yes, you can.
You're going to get us in trouble.
yeah. Here, beep. Where's that button?
You and
Well,
your highfalutin stamp-loving words.
I don't. That was from Trivial Pursuit in like 1982 that I remember that. So
I don't remember Trivial Pursuit in 1982.
No, you don't. You're rubbing it every time you're here. Yes, we get it. We're older than you.
But even I knew Maya Angelou didn't say that. So. And I know Lincoln says you can't trust everything you read
That's
on the
right.
internet.
Lincoln
So,
said it.
Lincoln said it. It's true. That man couldn't lie, right?
That's true.
Gosh. All right. So from stamps to dollar bills, and then there were 4. Rosa Parks, Harriet Tubman, Eleanor Roosevelt, and Wilma Mankiller have been named as the finalists for the Women on the 20s campaign to replace Andrew Jackson with a female on the $20 bill. Over 5 weeks, more than 250,000 people voted in an online poll that shrunk the list of 15 possible candidates down to 3. The majority of voters named Roosevelt, Tubman, or Parks as their 3 candidates. USA Today reports. The group says Mankiller, the first female chief of the Cherokee Nation, was added as a finalist due to strong sentiment that a Native American should replace Jackson, who authorized the Indian Removal Act of 1830, which, of course, we know now as we talk about now as the Trail of Tears, when they moved the Cherokee from the east to Oklahoma. A second round of voting will wrap up in the next few weeks and determine which candidate Women on 20s will present to the Treasury as part of its campaign to issue a new bill by 2020. Every one of its 15 candidates came out a winner because people of all ages across the country took the time to get to know them, says campaign executive director Susan Aids Stones. So Susan Aids Stone, who do you think should be on it?
I'm not sure. I think probably Rosa Parks would be my favorite. If I was going to pick of these 4, I would say probably Rosa Parks. But I'm not sure. I mean, they're all good. They're all good.
Who would you say?
I'd nominate you.
Oh.
See, this is what he says after he's called me old every day.
You're old enough to be on a $20 bill.
Oh, that's great.
Okay. That was bad. I'm sorry.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
You just
dig
dig that hole a little deeper there, Joe.
It's a good thing we're protected by glass here. I don't know how it's going to hold up, but
I would say Harriet Tubman.
Harriet Tubman, yeah, that's kind of the direction I would lean. But you know what? It's just been tradition that it's a president on there, and I think, I would reserve that for the first woman president, which is soon coming. It really is. It's gonna.
Well, I
have
hope it's
to
not
be.
coming in 2016 because the woman that the other side's putting up, I'm not real fond of. But that's just me.
Yeah, well, we all have our political differences, so
Just me.
let's not get in that. It's too early.
We're
Come on,
not
Tobin.
going
Keep it light.
there.
Early for that.
Keep it light.
But I think Harriet Tubman, and Rosa Parks as well. But
Rosa
Harriet
Parks,
Tubman,
yeah.
in a very real way, risked her life on a daily basis to save people, to bring them out of slavery. And Tobin, you did that trip with the Black Voice Foundation.
I did. I went on the Underground Railroad trip with them, and Harriet Tubman, it would be an excellent choice as well. I just feel that, to pick someone who's more culturally relevant to today, I think Rosa Parks is more...
because people know who she is.
Because you know who she is
But
more.
don't you think...
Yeah.
I mean, I think part of the dollar bill is, some people will, it's a $20 bill, of course, and some people won't pay attention to it. But I think it gets them asking, who is this person? And it says she is a freedom fighter. Or she was a freedom fighter.
Yeah. No, and I agree. It's good for opening up that conversation. But I just think that Rosa Parks would be more accessible as a person because we have more information about her life, because she's more of a modern person. And we don't really have any modern people on the money, right?
Yeah, but I wouldn't go and change. I'm kind of not for this because I wouldn't change something that's a piece of our history. That the currency that's in place already, it just seems weird to do that. Something that's been established, something that's historical.
But so many people feel that Andrew Jackson was a terrible, terrible president. Now they loved him at the time, but but because of the Trail of Tears, there's some embarrassment that goes along with having him on our $20 bill.
Well, and if you dig deep enough, there's embarrassment for every president we've ever had in the office in the history of our country. I mean,
True.
There's always something there. There's always a way to spin it to make it negative, and there's a way to spin it to make it positive. And that's not just with just the presidents, it's all of history.
Sure.
It's just a story. It's his story. When you look
Why
at it.
can't
Sorry,
it be her
Tobin.
story?
It could be her story too,
Yeah.
but and that the times are changing. So, but I don't know. There's other ways to pay tribute to, those that have contributed to the growth and the history of our country and the changes that have made changes. But there's people in modern day too that, in 50 or 100 years, we'll be talking about them, or they'll be talking about them rather, because we won't be here.
Yes.
But to say, oh, these people need to be honored for what they did. Cesar Chavez and others, that we need to, are due the same amount of respect for their contributions to our history and the growth of our country.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that. I've got issues with our money. I think we need to change the sizes of our bills. I think we need to add some color to our bills.
And they're doing that.
Yeah, and it's
They're
because
doing that, yeah.
imagine being blind. All of our bills are the same size.
Well, yeah, but I have blind friends actually, and there's a texture to it now because we don't use all of our senses the same. When you're blind, your touch is heightened, your smell is heightened. Your other senses are stronger than your sight because it's compensating for that. So there's a feel to the bills, and I've tested one of my friends on this quite extensively because I worked with him through high school. We did the walking in traffic and all of that, walking along traffic and learning those life skills, and tested him. Okay, what bill is this? And he can pull the right bill out of his pocket, or out of his wallet.
Wow.
This is a 5, this is a 20, and identify them because there is a feel to it. The raised lettering, there's that there. There's a texture to it that he's sensitive to.
Well, cool.
So yeah, it does kind of translate over in whatever visual or whatever the word is I'm looking for there.
Tactile?
Yeah, there you go. So it just touches whatever it is.
Well, it's time for a break.
It is.
That's what it is.
Did you want to go?
It's we have to pay the bills. It's 6:21. I'm Erin Brinker.
I'm Tobin Brinker.
And I'm Joe Flores.
On Kcaa AM 1050, we are on the Brink, the morning show here, and we will be right back.
The way the sunlight plays upon her head, I hear the sound of a gentle word on the wind.
Kcaa.
It's time for some delicious food at Pizza Dilly. Pizza Dilly Pizza in Colton, home of the famous 2-foot pizza with 32 slices of simply the best delicious Pizza Dilly mouth-watering pizza. Pizza Dilly has all kinds of lunch specials Monday through Friday, starting at $3.99, all delicious. Stop by, refresh, refuel, have a cold drink, enjoy a tasty salad or a great specialty Dillylicious sub sandwich, or simply Dilly-lightful Pizza Dilly wings. Pizza Dilly is also a People Dilly because your friends are all already there enjoying one of Pizza Dilly's giant screens, watching one of their favorite teams, and if you love the Dodgers, you'll love Pizza Dilly, your hometown Dodger station, all year round. Come on in, enjoy a great pizza, enjoy Pizza Dilly, the real Dilly deal at 194 East Valley Boulevard in Colton, or call 909-370-0242. Once again, that's 909-370-0242.
We are ambitious. We are proud of our work. We are Kubota. With Kubota's economical MX 4800 and MX 5200 utility ag tractors, we simply get more done. Full of big features, Kubota MX Series tractors are packed with up to 54.7 horsepower Kubota diesel engines, powerful transmission options, and more. Test drive one today during the More Power to You sales event. Fueling your ambition. We are Kubota.
If the truth hurts, then AM 1050 KCAA can be a real pain.
If you are facing criminal charges, your entire future is at stake. You need to act now to protect your job, your family, and your freedom. Call Wallen and Klarich at 877-4-NO-JAIL. Wallen and Claridge has over 30 years of experience in fighting for our clients' rights. With local offices in Riverside and San Bernardino, we are here to help you now. Call 877-4NO-JAIL or go to WKLaw.com. How much is your freedom worth? Call 877-466-5245. The call is free. Will you be?
It's the Onion Radio News. A UN factoid finding mission discovers Liberia is about the size of Tennessee. This is Doyle Redland reporting. UN factoid finders in war-ravaged Liberia have found the West African nation to be roughly the size of the state of Tennessee. Team leader Dr. Johan Sieber revealed the interesting size after returning from that fascinating African country this morning.
Did you also know that the flag of Liberia was modeled after the U.S. flag? Or that last year Liberia received over 200 inches of rain?
Over the course of the mission, the UN team, composed of soundbite engineers, fun fact checkers, and a trivial pursuit squad, collected more than 300 informational tidbits about the desperately poor and war-torn country. Doyle Redland for the Onion Radio News, online at theonion.com.
KCAA, where every day is a great day. KCAA, Loma Linda.
Close and hang on to a dream. On the boats and on the planes.
Welcome back. I'm Aaron Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And I'm Joe Flores.
And we are on the Brink on KCAA AM 1050. It's all over the news. You probably already heard it, so we'll just say really quickly. Dzhokhar Tsarnaev has been found guilty on all 30 counts he faced for his role in the 2013 Boston Marathon bombing, including 17 that make him eligible for the death penalty. So the jury is going to go into the penalty phase, and we'll find out what's going to happen.
You know, I personally am not a person who's a fan of the death penalty, but I got to tell you, this guy's got to be one of those ones who, you know, and I hate to say this, deserves it. The callousness in which that attack was carried out, the innocence and the way that they were targeted, and the way that these guys essentially, you know, kept that city in fear. It just was unthinkable, and I'm glad that he was convicted. I'm glad that they got him on every charge. It looked like the evidence was pretty overwhelming from the get-go. I'm surprised, actually, the trial took as long as it did.
They wanted to be sure, I guess.
Yeah. And, you know, and it makes me think of, like, the Oklahoma City bomber and people like that. I mean, put him in that same category of criminal, you know. And what he got sent to the Supermax, right? And then he didn't get the death penalty, but then he was killed in prison, or what?
Oh, you know what? I don't know. We'd have to look that up. That's Tim McVeigh.
Tim McVeigh. I don't remember, but I know he died.
He's dead. But I don't remember how he died.
Yeah, but this guy is probably looking at something similar.
Yeah,
maybe his brother got off easy, right?
That's exactly what I was just thinking, because his brother's, you know, dead, and you know, this is Dzhokhar is the younger of the two brothers, and so was he doing it because he was following along with his brother, or did he do it because he really was radicalized, or you know, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. So on to happier things.
Happy things.
So Tobin, you found the next story.
I did. Well, actually, we've got a couple stories about food, but before we get to the stories about food, I want to tell my own story.
Okay.
We had a guest last week talking about Burger Week in
Redlands.
that
was Deborah O'Hara from AboutRedlands.com.
Yeah, and it got me really excited about burgers this week. So I've actually been on a little bit of a burger hunt, and so the other night I went to Arlie's Burger Pit in Redlands and had a ramen burger, which was amazing. I was floored. It was so good. And actually, Aaron, they actually do gluten-free stuff. You can actually get a burger in a bowl without the bun, and so they've got some really good stuff there. I think you want to try it, so we're gonna have to go back. And
where is Arlie's?
Arlie's is actually over by where Brewcakes is. It's on Tennessee and Brookside.
Yeah, well, or San Mateo, right?
Mateo.
When Tennessee turns into San Mateo.
Yeah, San Mateo and Brookside, right there on the corner. And they actually have a lot of really nice restaurants there.
Yeah, Rosa Maria's is there. Yeah. There's I think Graciano's or something like that. Pizza, Brewcakes, of course, which we love, and Arlie's.
Yeah, and Arlie's is nothing to look at. It's not like a fancy place. But it is. I mean, think of the name, Arlie's Burger Pit, right? It's not the nicest looking place, but really, really good burgers. You know, I was so impressed. And then last night I went to Eureka Burger, and had the jalapeno egg burger.
Oh, that sounds good.
That was really good, and so I'm loving it.
So are you getting a burger tonight?
Unfortunately not, because I have to drive to L.A. tonight. I don't think I'm going to have time to get back to Redlands. Because I really want to do this in Redlands. And I've been picking out, because they have on the website, on the aboutredlands.com website, they tell you what are the specialty burgers. And the one I really wanted to get to, and I don't think I'm going to.
Is that Surf and Turf Burger?
Yeah, you know it.
Is that what it's called? No, it's like Lobster Burger
yeah,
or something.
Surf and Turf. Yeah, it's with the lobster and
that was at
Rockin' Fondue.
Rockin' Fondue.
Yeah, so I really wanted to get over that one. So I've been thinking about burgers all week, and that's why it's okay for me to run on Saturday, because I've been eating burgers all week, so I got to run it off. So I run to eat. But yeah, we have a couple stories about food. One of them was about where people like to go on their first date. So where do you think it is, Aaron? Where do you think people would like to go on a first date?
Well, I mean, I guess it really depends on how old they are. I don't know. Starbucks is kind of safe.
Well, Starbucks actually is the number one on the list, and women tend to prefer coffee joints. They want to go get coffee on a first date.
Yeah, it's kind of low key.
Yeah, and that's what the research is showing. They actually used a phone dating app service called Clover, which had analyzed over 200,000 of their users to figure this stuff out. And Starbucks was the number one item on the list. Men tend to prefer sit-down dining restaurants, and a lot of the ones that made the list are chain ones because that's easier to count.
Right.
You know, if you're just going to some local restaurant that nobody else has ever heard of, you're not going to be number one on the list.
Right.
But they had, like, Chipotle was actually number 2 on the list.
Really?
Yeah, and Panera was number 3. Yeah.
Well, Panera I could see for the same reason when Starbucks, because Panera has really great coffee, and you can, go get a salad or, I don't know. But
yeah,
Chipotle actually surprises me.
Yeah, well, the researchers said they were surprised because they actually went into this thinking they would see people going and meeting up at bars and nightclubs and, places that were more fun or,
Yeah, but as a woman, a bar is, you don't want to give somebody the wrong idea, I mean, if because people go to bars to hook up, and it's not that's a different thing than a first date where I want to get to know you.
Yeah. So the Clover says that only 18% of men and 13% of women prefer to meet at bars on a first date. So it's a fairly small percentage that want to meet in those locations, and maybe it's because those are the ones who are thinking, I want to hook up, right?
Right, exactly. I mean, those are hookup joints.
Yeah, and number 10 on the list was Applebee's.
Oh.
Applebee's, that was an interesting one. And way down at number 28 was Cracker Barrel.
Because we have so many of those in California.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. But I don't. I mean, Cracker Barrel. I think it's a family restaurant. It's a place you go with your grandparents. I don't know that it's a place I'd want to go on a date.
Taking Granny on a date.
Hey, some people are into that,
well, whatever floats your boat, right?
Cougar Town,
Freaky deakies need love too, man.
Yeah, I know.
Pick them up at the bingo hall, come on, Grandma.
Going over to Cracker Barrel for some biscuits and gravy.
Yeah. Well,
we can catch the early bird.
It's 4:00. It's time for dinner.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the all-you-can-eat buffet. It's all about the food, not about the date.
That's right.
Oh my gosh.
So
speaking of biscuits and gravy,
Go ahead.
for a lot of people that's comfort food. Not for me. I actually can't eat biscuits and gravy, but for a lot of people that's comfort food. What is comfort food to you?
Biscuits and gravy.
Really?
Yeah. No, actually, I like meatloaf or something like that, like a nice cold meatloaf sandwich or something. Any food is comfort food, really. Macaroni and cheese,
Mac and cheese.
Those are kind of the things everybody goes towards. Yeah.
I like a turkey dinner with the mashed potatoes and the gravy, and that's very comfort food to me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or homemade chicken soup. I make a mean homemade chicken soup.
If I could get
wait, was that a challenge?
Really?
Yeah. You want a challenge?
Sure.
All right.
For me, if I could get like a good chicken pot pie with like that flaky crust on top, that's comfort food for me. That's just bringing
pot
me back.
Roast.
Yeah, pot
Beef
roast.
stew.
Yeah. I had beef stew last night, homemade. So.
Oh, wow. Nice. Well, apparently Americans love their comfort foods, from macaroni and cheese to chicken noodle soup. But a new study suggests it isn't actually the taste of the food that we crave, but rather a reminder of an emotional bond we shared with the person who made the dish for us in our youth.
Yeah.
And this is according to the University of Buffalo. I don't know.
That makes sense to me.
It does.
It does, because it's everything's tied to a memory. Where you get the most pleasure is a happy memory. So if it takes you back, it makes you feel good, and makes you reminds you of a better time. That's a comfort.
Yeah.
To me.
But let me throw this out there. So what if you grew up in a violent home? Does that mean that you don't have, because you wouldn't then have, warm memories of Grandma and her chocolate chip cookies. Does that mean that there's no food that's a comfort to you?
No, not necessarily. I mean, even in those environments, you still find an escape, something that would bring comfort to you. So there is a happy memory, or, I'm just speaking in general here, not directly to, to support any type of domestic violence or anything.
Right.
But I mean, growing up in that, I would imagine, still in the studies that I've read that, you do find something that brings you a happy memory, maybe.
Well, what about the antithesis of comfort food? Discomfort food.
Right.
Well, what is discomfort? Liver and onions?
I don't know, but I mean,
Works for me.
using your example, I mean, someone who grew up in that environment, instead of associating positive emotions with food, maybe there are certain foods that we would associate with negative emotions because of something bad happening.
Top ramen. Look at the college kids living on top ramen.
Yeah.
So, they don't touch it after you're out of college.
That's
if that's
true.
what you've lived on.
That's
you get
true.
You get that thing. You get that feeling from it. So yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And people I know who have been in recovery. So maybe they were. Not maybe, they were addicts, either alcohol or drugs or that sort of thing. And you talk to them years later and they won't touch that food because it reminds them of the time when they had no food because they were addicted, and they ate ramen because it was 10 cents a pack.
Right. And a discomfort food for me is actually anything from, McDonald's. But because I had gotten a really, really bad case of food poisoning 16 years ago now, 1999. And I have not touched so much as even a napkin from McDonald's.
Are you
because
serious?
it was just that horrible memory of that experience. And we were on a field trip, so as teachers, you know how it is when you're the head chaperone. You're responsible for all those kids, and you don't leave until every kid is gone. And
yet you were violently ill.
Myself and 6 kids. We stopped at a McDonald's after we left a show taping down in Hollywood. And by the time we made it up the pass, there was the 6 kids and myself. The only ones of us that had hamburgers were the ones that were so sick. I mean, here I am running to the back of the bus to take care of the kids and pick up their trash bags and give them new ones. And, and then I run up to the front of the bus and I'm going at it, and I was stuck with it. And we all ended up at the hospital by the time we made it back up to Victorville.
Did you all? So it was reported to the health department?
It was reported, but nothing was done.
Of course not.
No.
Wow. Now, to me, the food that's off-putting, or food or drink, it's tequila. I don't like tequila at all. I don't like the smell of it. I mean, I can have it if there's a tiny amount in a margarita or something, but yeah, that brings back memories that I don't want to have again.
See, I had that.
There's some booze that's like that for me. Tequila's like that.
Tequila,
They don't call it tequila for nothing.
No, they don't.
I think every young teenage drinker has probably one tequila story. Like, oh no.
Yeah,
that's the night I hit my head, and
that's right.
I don't remember. I blacked out.
A bad night blamed on Jose Cuervo.
That's right. My friend Jose.
I'll hang out with Jack before I hang out with Jose. Yeah.
My friend Jack.
Well, we have to take another break. It's 6:37. I'm Aaron Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And I'm Joe Flores.
And we are on the Brink here on KCAA AM 1050. We'll be right back.
Just take those old records off the shelf. I sit and listen to them by myself. Today's music ain't got the same soul. I like that old time rock and roll. Don't try to take me to
Kcaa. Here's a look at the community calendar. I'm Di Rice. Inland Pacific Ballet will be performing at 4 different theaters across the Southland. There will be 10 opportunities to see Beauty and the Beast, so make sure you catch one of these breathtaking performances. Shows will begin April 25th and run through May 16th. Performances will be held in Claremont, Rancho Cucamonga, and Riverside. Find your show and pick your seats for Beauty and the Beast at ipballet.org. Group discounts are available, and that is a look at the KCAA community calendar. I'm Di Rice.
Hey, this is Steve Sanchez, and do you know in 2007, I went off to the doctor for a basic checkup, and he informed me, Steve, you got plaque built up around your heart, and you're going to need stents. I informed him, with no offense, doc, I need a second opinion. I go off to a naturopathic doctor, and he introduces me to something called Zango. It's a juice made of the whole mangosteen fruit. You know, the mangosteen fruit has been used for centuries for healing. So, hey, what do I have to lose? I tried it. 3 months later, I go back to my cardiologist, no plaque, no stents, and I'm proud to say 7.5 years later, I'm stent free. I want to turn you on to Zango because it's the only true 100% mangosteen fruit juice. It's patented. In fact, the Mayo Clinic is paying attention because they're doing an extensive study because they cannot ignore all the testimonials around the world. I want to give you a free sample of the Zango juice today. Simply call 888-309-5656. That's 888-309-5656 for your free mangosteen juice sample today from the company called Zango.
If you are facing criminal charges, your entire future is at stake. You need to act now to protect your job, your family, and your freedom. Call Wallen and Claridge at 877-4NO-JAIL. Wallen and Claridge has over 30 years of experience in fighting for our clients' rights. With local offices in Riverside and San Bernardino, we are here to help you now. Call 877-4NO-JAIL or go to WKLaw.com. How much is your freedom worth? Call 877-466-5245. The call is free. Will you be?
You're listening to KCAA, your good neighbor along the way.
Welcome back. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
This is Case.
Oh, and I'm Joe Flores. Yeah, good. Cut me out, huh? I'm only here 2 days a week, and you cut me out. No, I'm just kidding. It's okay. Go ahead.
That's because you called me old.
Because you don't remember I'm here 2 days a week?
That's right. I forgot.
Memory problem.
And I'll finish it. This is On the Brink on KCAA.
of 1050.
Good.
So, all right. Now I'm feeling really bad.
It's all right. I'm used to it.
Okay, so let's talk about feeling bad. Apparently, almost 80 years ago, actually a little bit longer than that, Adolf Hitler decided that his SS and other people needed a resort. And so he made a resort. So actually, it is almost 80 years after Adolf Hitler picked a design for a massive seaside resort for weary German workers to recharge their batteries. The Prora complex is finally popular. The mammoth Nazi-era complex on the Baltic Sea island is being redeveloped into apartments. But it's absolutely, if it looks like a prison cell. It looks like a prison block. Yeah, it's awful. With the German property market is heating up. Buyers seem to be willing to ignore its tainted past, and this is according to the Wall Street Journal. I'm happy to see that this building is being made into a nice vacation apartments. It was always ruins, a buyer who plans to move in this fall tells the Journal. The buildings were built in dark, bad time. Now they're being transformed. The Nazis put the project on hold in 1939, and the complex designed to accommodate 20,000 people was used by the Soviet Union and the German military after the war before being left to decay for years. The transformation comes amid a wider redevelopment of Nazi-era buildings into residential properties. And although it's been dubbed Hitler's resort, developers dismiss controversy about the Prora project. It was always about tourism, so it doesn't have such a negative history. The director of one of the site's developers tells The Guardians, which notes that since the property has been deemed historic, the German government is subsidizing the sales.
Yeah, I'm looking at the pictures, and I just don't see this place as a resort. I don't. I mean, I'm not sure what they're going to do the insides to make that look nice, but boy, the outside sure looks,
It looks cinder blocky.
It does.
Absolutely
it looks,
like a prison block.
Stale and scary, and yeah.
I don't know. Would you buy one of those places?
I don't think so. I'm not and plus I guess you'd have to ask where on the Baltic, but what is that, like 9 months out of the year it's freezing cold up there, isn't it? I mean, this is not warm weather, territory, is it, on the Baltic?
Doesn't sound like somewhere I'd want to vacation.
Yeah. I don't know.
Or live, for that matter, either, but yeah. I don't know.
Not a hot
Different
property.
strokes.
Yeah, I guess. I don't see it. And just the fact that it was built by the Nazis, I don't think I would be interested at all.
Yep. Well,
But it is a piece of history.
It is a piece of history indeed.
See?
well, another sort of not so nice person is this judge we were talking about the other day, who basically let this guy go who sodomized a 3-year-old.
Yes, they cut 15 years off his sentence or something. He's down to 10 years now.
Well, just a quick
something like that.
a quick headline here. The citizens of Orange County are calling for the judge's resignation, and as I said to you privately, and I'll say it now on air, we've got to remember this judge's name, and when he's up for re-election, there has got to be a serious campaign to get this guy off the bench, because how do you do this? How do you reduce the sentence and essentially blame the 3-year-old for walking in to the garage, and so that's why the guy, he's not really a predator because he didn't go looking for the kid. The kid walked in on him, and
Right.
so that's why
She's 3, and it was the garage at her own home.
Yeah. So I mean, I just this judge is not right in the head. I mean, and I made the connection when we were talking about Nazis. I think of that kind of warped mentality. This judge has got a warped mentality. He's not thinking like a normal human being. And so I'm just glad it looks like there are a group of folks in Santa Ana that are organizing to get rid of this judge, and I hope that they're successful. If there's an online petition, I would sign it. If there was a meeting to go to rally or whatever outside the courts, I would go and show up, because this guy is just that wrong.
There is a change.org petition, and I'm going to go ahead and post that on our KCAA radio Facebook page, so you can sign it. Because he did say, this is Judge M. Mark Kelly in Orange County, that there was no violence or callous disregard for the victim's well-being. No violence? He sodomized a 3-year-old. How is that not violent?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This guy's wrong. I mean, it reminds me of that crazy judge, I think it was up in Montana, that did something similar with a 14-year-old girl, and basically said that she was asking for it, or she wanted it.
Was raped, and that she was asking for it.
And he let the guy out with time served, right? And didn't sentence him. So it's a similar kind of idea. It's just the judges that are blaming the victim, blaming children, instead of holding these predators accountable. And there are certain types of crimes that you just have got to come down hard on, and this is one of them. So yeah, thank you for finding that change.org petition, because I'll definitely sign that. And like I said, if I hear that they're having marches or picketing or anything like that, I would want to go and be a part of that, because this guy is just that wrong. We've got to get people like that off the bench. It gives us all a bad name. I mean, we have this great justice system in America that does good on so many levels, and then to have someone like that, nope, sorry, they got to go.
I would just think, if somebody were to seize his computer, I wonder what kind of things he would have on it, because anybody who, how does anybody who's a father not say, any man that I know would kill somebody that did that to their kid?
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't, how this judge thinks the way he does. He must move in that. I assume that he's more empathetic to the pedophile.
To the perpetrator, the pedophile.
I'm trying to find the right words.
Yeah.
Because how else would you sympathize with the pedophile?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's creepy. It is very, very creepy, and it makes you wonder about that judge. I mean, because normal people don't think that way. It's really a twisted way of thinking of the world. And again, I don't know why, but when we were talking about the Nazi story, because I think of Nazism as that kind of twisted thinking as well. It's just sometimes you get people that are like that. They're simply screwed up in the head. They don't see the world, correctly, and they do evil things. This was an evil thing, taking 15 years off this guy's sentence.
Yeah, I agree. Well, believe it or not, it's time for another break. It's 6:47.
Yeah, it's time. It is time.
It is time again. I'm Erin Brinker.
I'm Tobin Brinker.
And I'm Joe Flores.
And this is KCAA AM 1050. We are on the brink, and we'll be right back.
KCAA, where every day is a great day. KCAA, Loma Linda.
In the time you've spent listening to this radio spot, you could have completed and submitted an entire expense report with a simple picture of your receipt. That's all it takes for you to get back to work and for your business to run more efficiently. To learn more and discover all the ways Concur helps manage your company's expenses, just go to tryconcur.com for a free test drive.
What have I learned so far? I've learned that dropping out of high school was my decision. But as a single mom, that decision affected more than just me. To set an example, I had to be the example. I found a free high school diploma program at Learn for Life that fits around my busy life. I have a team of teachers, tutors, and counselors that really care. I learn at my pace in an environment that is safe and comfortable. What have I learned so far? I've learned that I can change my life.
Are you 14 to 19 years old and looking for a free high school diploma program with flexible meeting times? This program allows you to keep your job or important family responsibilities while earning your high school diploma. If you've fallen behind on credits or dropped out of school completely, get back on track with free tutoring, a caring faculty, and one-on-one attention. For more information on how to reach your graduation goal, visit learnforlife.org. That's LEARN4LIFE.org. Or enroll today by calling 877-360-LEARN. That's 877-360-LEARN.
The difference between us and the other stations? We like you. We really, really like you. AM 1050 KCAA.
If you are facing criminal charges, your entire future is at stake. You need to act now to protect your job, your family, and your freedom. Call Wallen and Claridge at 877-4NO-JAIL. Wallen and Claridge has over 30 years of experience in fighting for our clients' rights. With local offices in Riverside and San Bernardino, we are here to help you now. Call 877-4NO-JAIL or go to WKLaw.com. How much is your freedom worth? Call 877-466-5245. The call is free. Will you be?
This is Scientific American's 60-Second Science. I'm Karen Hopkin. This will just take a minute. Looking for a diet that will help you burn fat? Consider the chili. Because capsaicin, the chemical compound that gives chili peppers their kick, appears to prevent weight gain in mice that are fed a high-fat diet. The finding was presented at the Biophysical Society's annual meeting in Baltimore. Obesity is caused by an energy imbalance. More calories go in than go out. So conventional wisdom has it, to tip the scales the other way, you could eat less. Or move more. But maybe there's a third option. Researchers treated mice to a diet high in fats. But some mice also got a pinch of capsaicin. After 25 weeks, the mice with added spice gained less weight than those on fat alone, even though they ate and drank the same amount. Seems the mice that got the caliente treatment were more likely to get off their rodent rears. They naturally spent more time exercising than their fat-fed counterparts. But before you stock up on chili-flavored Cheetos, keep in mind that mice that ate a well-balanced diet in the first place were the most active and sleek. So feel free to use your sriracha, but maybe skip the chips. Thanks for the minute. For Scientific American's 60-Second Science, I'm Karen Hopkin.
KCAA.
Her name was Lola.
Welcome back. I'm Aaron Brinker.
And I'm Lola.
I didn't realize I'd had that long of an intro, but yeah, I'm Joe Flores.
Well, and there's a reason why we're playing. What, you're Lola?
I'm Lola.
That was a slow burn.
Hey, someone's a little slow over there.
I know.
Waiting for you to come up with it. You wake up on that one.
He's Tobin Brinker.
I am Tobin Brinker.
So we're going to share some news. Barry Manilow got married to his manager, Gary Keefe. It seems that Barry Manilow is a married man, and his longtime male manager, Gary Keefe, reportedly got hitched last year in a small surprise ceremony in front of family and friends. Now, the scoop comes from the National Enquirer, which brings the usual grain of salt alert, but other outlets say they've confirmed, including People, and Us Weekly. The latter outlet also notes that Manilow, who's 71, has long kept his sexuality a private matter. Both he and his 66-year-old Keith wear wedding bands, but they reportedly didn't file official papers in California in order to keep the ceremony quiet. So congratulations to Barry and Gary.
I'm a fan of Lowe.
I'm a fan of Lowe.
I love his music, and I'm happy that he's happy. So congratulations to Barry Manilow and Gary Keefe.
Are you a fan, Joe?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I like Barry Manilow's music.
You're a fan of Lowe?
A fan of Lowe. I'm a fan of Lowe. Yes. Yes. He is fabulous.
Fabulous. Exactly. Exactly. So, Tobin, you have a story.
I have a story, yeah.
Tobin is a story.
What story do I have? Oh, well, the guy who filmed the South Carolina shooting has now come forward. We now know his name. It's a great name. It's Feldon Santana. Feldon Santana. And he's telling his story now about what happened.
Now, why don't you fill our listeners in case they haven't been watching the news?
So the other night, apparently on Saturday, an African-American man was shot while running away from a police officer, and it was captured on a cell phone video. And it hit the news yesterday, I believe, and it is really shaking things up. This guy was clearly executed by this police officer, running away from the officer, good 15 to 20 feet away. The officer unloads 8 shots into this man's back. The man falls to the ground dead, and it's all captured on the cell phone video. And apparently, the gentleman who filmed it, whose name I love, Feldon Santana, was not sure what he should do. He actually contemplated destroying the video that he'd taken because of fear for his own safety. That the cops would somehow target him. This is, you just watched a guy get executed and he filmed it,
Right. Well, and the police officer has now been charged with murder.
The police officer has been charged with murder. He's been fired from his position. Apparently, within 6 seconds after the shooting ended, the officer quickly went on his radio and said that this guy had been fighting with him and had tried to take away or had taken away his taser. He was already 6 seconds after firing the last shot was concocting his story to try to make it seem like this was a justifiable shoot. And in the video, there's actually a picture of him walking back to where the shooting area started, picking up his what looks to be his taser, and then walking over where the guy's now lying dead and dropping it next to him. And you can't help but imagine that he's trying to sort of manipulate the evidence to make it look like there had been some sort of struggle over the taser. This was wrong on so many levels, but captured, thank God, captured on this guy's cell phone. And again, he had this momentary thought that he would destroy it, but eventually he decided to come forward. He gave it to the family, the Scott family, and then they got it to the media. I think it was first published in the New York Times and then went wide from there. And, of course, once the media outlets got it, they did a lot to enhance the video, and so there are moments of it where it's slowed down. They're able to sort of zoom in on certain aspects, and you can see, for instance, like I said, the taser sort of being picked up and walked it back over. At least we think it's the taser. But this is just a dirty cop sort of caught doing the worst thing that a cop can do, which is essentially assassinating a guy who's running away from him.
Well, the cop, Michael Slager, apparently when the filming started, he had control of Scott, and Scott was just trying to get away from the taser, and this is according to Santana.
Yeah.
And according to a Guardian analysis of the video, police scanner audio, Slager made a radio call saying that Scott had quote unquote grabbed my taser, like you said, just 6 seconds after firing the final shot. The officer was fired yesterday, and Scott's brother tells the New York Daily News that he will pray for him, even though he was using my brother for target practice, quote unquote. Yeah. The brother said he doesn't believe Scott, who owed child support, was really stopped for a broken brake light. He made sure in every vehicle that all the lights were working. He would say, I don't want to get stopped by the police.
Yeah. Yeah, and of course this story fits into a broader narrative that we've seen playing out over the last year here of African Americans being targeted by police officers and being killed. And each incident has to be looked at on its own facts, its own merits. This one, though, it's clear that this officer was wrong. And the racial component of the story, of course, is that the officer was white, the victim is African American, and this has got people fired up. But I'll say to South Carolina's credit, the police department, the mayor, everybody acted very quickly. This guy was fired. He was charged. The governor, everyone has come out. They obviously don't want what happened in Ferguson, where there was all these denials and sort of things that went on for a period of time. They immediately stepped forward to say, we're going to take care of this.
Right. Well, but Ferguson had the opposite story. I mean, when the forensic evidence actually came out, it was a very, very, very different kind of situation.
No, and I agree. But still, Ferguson and the state did not handle that one particularly
They didn't well, and obviously there were riots, and despite bringing in the National Guard, the city was still burned down. I mean, it was bad, and I understand that no city wants that to happen. No state wants that to happen under their watch.
Yeah. So this one is interesting in that. I've heard people sort of saying, well, if he's running from the cop or if he's doing this, but my question to people who want to sort of try to justify what happened is to say, do any of those things rise to the level where a person should lose their life? I mean, this cop was judge, jury, and executioner.
Right.
And nothing that this guy did. I mean, pulled over for a broken brake light, if that's true, that's something you get a ticket for. You don't get killed for.
Right.
Running away from a cop, while certainly not the smartest thing to do, again, you should be arrested for that. That's not.
You shouldn't be shot 8 times in the back.
Yeah.
So we are at the end of our show. As I hear this music,
Look who's on the time clock today.
Yeah, I know, exactly. I'm Erin Brinker.
I'm Tobin Brinker.
And I'm Joe Flores.
And we are on the Brink here on KCAA AM 1050. Thank you for spending Thursday with us. We will see you tomorrow.
Make it a good day.
Make it a good day.
She's anything but typical. She's a crazy unicorn. She's a powerful force.
And now, it's time for the latest in news from KCAA, CNBC Business News, brought to you by West Coast Auto.
You're on board KCAA's Inland Talk Express. KCAA, Loma Linda, 1050 AM, the station that leaves no listener behind.
I'm Chris Maurer, CNBC Business Radio. Stocks are higher. The Dow's up 25, the Nasdaq higher by 11. More Americans were standing on unemployment lines filing first-time claims last week. The Labor Department says weekly applications rose 14,000 to 281,000. That's slightly above expectations. Costco turns in weaker than expected sales in March. The drop was a little more than analysts were forecasting. Walgreens announcing it will be shuttering 200 of its U.S. stores. The closings by the nation's largest drugstore chain expands a $1 billion cost reduction plan it announced last summer. Constellation Brands' profit beating the street and revenue was in line. The premium wine, beer, and spirits company also initiated a quarterly dividend of 31 cents per share. Chris Maurer, CNBC Business Radio.